Hi, friends. Good to connect to you. It is always a pleasure to connect to you back. Thanks for being a part of this community. As always, I have the pleasure to bring you a very natural and rather a very practical story this time, which we all shall be able to connect very quickly. So, two men and both were seriously ill, occupied the same hospital room. So, out of these two men, one man was allowed to sit up in his bed for an hour each afternoon to help drain the fluids from his lungs. His bed was next to the room's only window. The other man had to spend all of his time flat on his back. The men talked for hours on end. They spoke of their wives and families, their homes, their jobs, their involvement in the military service, and where they had been on vacations. So every afternoon, when the man in the bed by the window could sit up, he would pass the time by describing to his roommate all the things he could see outside the window. The man in the other bed began to live for those 1 hour periods where his world would be broadened and enlivened by all the activity and color of the world outside the hospital window. So he used to mesmerize and he started envisaging and virtually connecting to all those narrations which his friend used to bring to him. The window overlooked a park with a lovely lake. Ducks and swans played on the water while children sailed their model boats. Young lovers walked arm in arm through flowers of every color of the rainbow. Grand old breeze grazed the landscape, and a fine view of the city skyline could be seen in the distance. As the man by the window described all this in excellent detail, the man on the other side of the room would close his eyes and imagine the beautiful scene. One warm afternoon, the man by the window described a parade passing by below. Although the other man couldn't hear the band, he could see it in his mind as the gentleman by the window described it. Weeks went by and months went by, and it just went like this. So one fine morning, a nurse arrived to bring water for their baths and found the lifeless body of the man by the window, who had died peacefully in his slumber sleep. She was saddened and called the hospital attendants to take the body away. As soon as it seemed appropriate in a few days, the other man asked if he could be moved next to the window so that he can also have the pleasure to look outside the window. So the nurse was happy to make the switch, and after making sure he was comfortable, she left him alone. Slowly, painfully, he propped himself up on one elbow to take his first look at the world outside. Finally, he would have the joy of seeing it for himself. He moved slowly to turn and look out the window beside the bed. The window faced a blank wall. The man asked the nurse what could have caused his deceased roommate to describe such a wonderful thing outside the window. And it was all his narration. He was so surprised and taken aback. The nurse answered that the man was blind, could not even see the wall. She replied, maybe he just wanted to encourage you in person, and that must be his motivation. So, with this, I think what we could maybe take up is our personal limitations can never stop us or maybe anybody to limit to extend a helping hand to the needful whenever and in whatever way this help can be extended. To stay courteous and helpful to others has been considered the most noble and biggest dharma, as mentioned in our most revered Hindu scriptures, Gita. So thus, we all need to be a part of this Thanksgiving. It is always wonderful to get connected and interact with you. With this, I close this. Thanks for being a part of this interaction. Take good care of yourself. Bye bye.